Kathleen Kennedy is not on Indeed.com looking for jobs because she's keeping her current job for at least 3 more years. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. So welcome everybody to the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. Time to give our takes on the latest news and rumors and whatever else is going on about Star Wars. Very excited to get into a lot of the stories that we have today, and a little bit of an open chat later if we have time, where we're gonna talk about what we like to do on Thanksgiving, which is on Thursday. So happy Thanksgiving week, everybody. First of all, short work week, short school week. So maybe this is the type of Monday where everyone's feeling a little better about things. We got a little critical on Thursday with our State of Star Wars episode, but it sounded like people really enjoyed our takes on that. We always try to do things with respect. And talking about Star Wars with me, as always, is James and Lacey. So how you guys doing? Me and Lacey are rocking some Make Solo 2 Happen gear. Feeling the vibes, feeling good. Mm-hmm. James is rocking a hunter green shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like.
I like that green, though. It's a good green.
Yeah. Nice, good fit, tight, and
it brings out your beard.
Yeah. I always hated wearing green shirts with khaki pants because I felt like a tree.
Isn't there a character, like an animated character,
Shaggy.
cartoon character that's? Oh, I was gonna say
Doug Funny.
Arthur.
Doug Funny
Arthur.
Doug too. Arthur
wears
doesn't
a green
know.
vest.
Arthur's like yellow or orange or something.
Oh yeah,
but you're
Doug,
right,
maybe.
Doug Funny. Yeah.
Oh, Doug wears the sweater vests.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the khaki shorts. Yep.
Yeah. Unless he's fighting crime, then he's wearing underwear on his head with a belt.
No, underwear over his pants.
Yeah, underwear over his pants. Belt.
On a belt on his head.
On his head.
I guess I have to rewatch Doug because I'm up for 2 on Doug right now.
Hey, I have a hot take on Doug. Is I liked Nickelodeon Doug, but I think where I connected the most with like enjoying the show was ABC's brand spanking new Doug, and I think most people were like, "Oh, that's when the show went downhill." And I'm like, first of all, we're talking about Doug here. Let's back off a little bit.
It's just Doug.
I love the hot takes on Doug.
I know, but like I've always heard that people hated brand
Doug.
spanking new Doug, and I always liked it. I was like, oh yeah, it's like they changed up the characters a little bit. They made them new and fresh and kind of twisted everything around. I liked it. I like brand spanking new Doug.
Yeah, Doug's all right. I think Billy West did the voice for Doug.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly. And Roger was like the bully, right?
Roger Klotz.
Yeah.
And he in brand spanking new Dog, he won the lottery and he was the rich kid.
Yeah. I always thought it was funny. Patty's last name is Mayonnaise. It wasn't even like a play on mayonnaise, or just mayonnaise. Her last name is Mayonnaise.
I like that our first story is Matthew Filoni. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but I would hate to be any sort of reporter or like scoop giver, and my last name was Baloney, or could be seen as or pronounced as Baloney.
He's probably like, it's Baloney, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So Lacey, another week closer.
This is the week, actually. If there was a week, it's this one. This is it. Like, final countdown's playing. This is the one.
So everybody say bye, Lacey.
Bye.
And,
well, wait, you guys are
around.
talking about closer to Book of Boba Fett, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
All right,
the countdown for that. Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with Lacey, but of course she'll be back. So don't worry, folks. But also, Lacey, I had to say this. Great shirt today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I came up with it a long time ago.
The traditional, oh, there that is. The traditional Make Solo 2 Happen shirt. I'm wearing a red one.
So, fun fact,
we're very in spirit today.
Yeah, there's a couple shirts I can still wear, which is this one, Mando Fan Show. Like, there's a couple. It is a struggle, but we're here. We're ready to talk Star Wars.
Racy's like in a Lacey's
Racy?
in like a. I was gonna say Lacey's in a rain jacket, like a raincoat, and it came out wrong.
Lacey, Stacy, Tracy. Nope, it's Lacey.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I actually
James.
don't mind because on our Patreon chat, I said, oh, I'm going to James that. And I meant change, but because
Yeah,
I read
change.
it, I said James.
Yeah.
Before we get to our first segment, I wanted to give a special shout out to a young lady named Charlotte.
Charlotte!
Charlotte. Now, Charlotte is listening and she's like, is it me? Am I the Charlotte? Well, let's find out. Charlotte, who dressed up as Ahsoka for around Halloween time. Charlotte, who is the daughter of Mark Judick. So that's you, Charlotte. So
Hi,
Mark and
Charlotte.
Charlotte, we just want to give you a shout out from us here at TRB. Thanks for listening to our show. Thanks for being a fan of what we do here. We hope you enjoy it. I know that you and your dad get to listen to it when you're on your car rides. So we just want to say hi. Thanks for being a part of TRB. And I hope you enjoy this episode. So
I wish I was as cool as you,
with...
Charlotte, because not only did you dress up as Ahsoka, which is cooler than anything I've ever done, but Rosario Dawson, who plays Ahsoka, liked the tweet. She saw it.
Big time.
I know. I'll never be that cool. Ever.
No.
Nope.
I dressed up as Han Solo once, and Harrison Ford didn't like my photo. So
he doesn't even know your photo exists. That's how Harrison Ford it is.
He doesn't even know social media exists.
Yeah, he's like, what's a twatter?
Yeah. I'm like, Harrison, I dressed up as you. He's like, I don't care.
Harrison winked at me once, and it will be one of the top 10 moments of my life.
In your general area.
No, he winked at me. So they didn't believe me, by the way. These two guys don't believe me. I literally recorded a video of my mom recounting the tale, saying, yes, that did happen, and sent it to them, and they're still like, no, it didn't.
Well,
yeah.
Listen. Yeah.
Sharon knows what's up. My little sister, Kelly, she was there. She knows what's up. I'm not making it up.
Well, Mark and Charlotte, may the force be with you, and hope you enjoy the show, and keep being awesome. But now, James, it is time for the Resistance Report.
It's the Resistance.
Breaking news, sort of, for us. You may see that we look a little different than we did about 5 seconds ago. That's because some
the keyword
news
is
came out that arrived after we recorded the episode. So to break the fourth wall, that's why we may look a little different here. But we knew we had to give our takes on this story and not wait a whole nother week. So that's why we're doing it. Some casting news out of an upcoming live-action Star Wars show. James, what do we got going on, buddy?
Well, we have a report from Deadline, who, is always pretty credible, a good source to go off of. They are actually reporting that Natasha Liu Bordizzo is officially the person cast as Sabine Wren in the upcoming Ahsoka series. Now, this is all over the place because there's been all sorts of different rumors about different people that could have possibly been the cast. There's been all sorts of fan castings, including the famous Tiya Sircar, who portrayed the character in Star Wars Rebels, who has her own acting career. But it looks like it is Natasha here. She's Australian, I believe, and has been in a couple different series, including dramatic series for Netflix, and also some action series that were based on the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So it's like she has her sword fighting skills, she has her acting dramatic skills. It's all there. I guess we're going to talk a little bit about it. It's kind of a surprise, like I said. News came on Friday, which now this is Monday, but here we are. Let's talk about it a little bit. Lacey, I'm gonna actually start with you on this one. What were your thoughts when you heard the news that the character had been cast?
Well, my first initial reaction was, again on a Friday? Why are we doing this?
Oh, man.
So you guys are getting a weekend pony today. So that being said, I don't know who this person is. I'm going to be completely honest. However, I did look into stuff that she's done. And the first thing that comes up is the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon thing with Donnie Yen, actually. I was like,
interesting.
It's our boy. So she did a lot of stunt work for that. And then she was also in The Greatest Showman, where she played a knife thrower, which I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting a vibe from her. She likes the action stuff. She likes the dangerous
Sharp
roles.
Objects.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that this was out there. Obviously, it's not an official Lucasfilm announcement, because why would it be that? But the idea that this somehow leaked is crazy. But based on the stuff that happened last year with The Mandalorian, with Timothy Olyphant and Rosario Dawson, it's not that surprising. But regardless, I mean, it's exciting. Again, this is one of those things that I saw James, and I immediately was like, James is gonna be hyped for this.
I mean, it pretty much confirms she's in the show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's moving towards that Rebels live action, which I know you're like really, really wanting.
And not everyone is, I've noticed.
Wanting the Rebels thing?
A lot of people, I saw a bunch of people, I would say a handful at least off the bat after this came out, saying they were hoping for the animated sequel to Rebels, but it looks like...
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. I was like, wait, what?
What do they want the Ahsoka show to be then?
No,
like just something new? I don't know. Like it is kind of new anyway.
That totally makes sense, but I get it. You watch a show one way, you want it to continue on that same way. But guys, come on, Dave Filoni's involved. This is his moment to get his characters in live action. He's going to do it. So that's my initial reaction anyway.
John, did you have an initial reaction or longer thoughts on this that we can bounce around to?
My initial reaction was that probably puts the nail in the coffin for Taylor Gray playing Ezra Bridger.
Oh yeah, I thought that. Ugh. Yeah.
That was my initial reaction, actually. Because, we after having spoken with him, we were rooting pretty hard for him to get it, and we knew he wanted it. It still doesn't mean he's out of the question, but based on the patterns here, looks like Katie Sackhoff is the one, at least so far, that has broken the mold and made the leap from animated to live action. But now that, in thinking about it, and I'm with Lacey, I'm not familiar with Natasha Liu Bordizzo, but in watching interviews with her, I watched a bunch of interviews with her doing press for movies. She is very charismatic. She's also very confident. She has a sense of humor. She has a lot of the traits that I see in Sabine, and I think that it's a good fit. I even looked at her height. She's 5'5", so she's a little shorter than Ahsoka, which I think plays.
She's still taller than me.
And she has the look for sure, and I think there was even something of her where she had red or pink hair, and in another show or something like that. And if people someone like Brian E. Ward wants to crop it, they can make it look like Sabine probably.
Well, she was a character in Guns Akimbo with Daniel Radcliffe.
Is that what it was?
And I think she had neon orange hair in the movie, just because that movie was very splashy color anyway.
So in seeing, Lacey shared with us a snippet that was promoting that Crouching Tiger thing that they did in 2016, I think.
I need to go watch that, by the way. I saw that and I was like, how did I miss this?
Yeah, I think she was about 22 at the time. She's 27 now. And she, very impressive. Swinging swords along the likes of Michelle Yeoh and Donnie Yen. So that works, especially if Sabine maybe gets her hands on that Darksaber one day in live action. But the other thing too, Sabine, based on age, should be around 29 or so, if we're assuming the Ahsoka series takes place when she appeared in The Mandalorian. And as an actor, she, as a person, I should say, Natasha Liu is 27. Now the Tiya Sircar thing, I get, it's a little disappointing because you kind of felt in us talking to Taylor and her tweets and stuff, she probably was interested in doing this. But then you step back and think about it. Tiya Sircar is going to be 40 next spring. You're pushing the envelope a little bit there. So the more I've looked into this, the more I understand it. But at the same time, you do sympathize with the actor who put their heart and soul and created who Sabine was. the same type of thing that happened with Ashley Eckstein. But the other thing is the Ezra casting can't be far behind. And I just, like Lacey said, news on a Friday, I can't believe it. And it happens to be a trade and not coming from Lucasfilm or Disney, who definitely had this last week. Wouldn't it have been cool if they just put some sort of like family Zoom call and had, here's your new cast of Ahsoka, or just done something?
I saw so many reactions that were like, Disney Plus Day?
Yeah, just do a nice little presentation to excite your fans instead of like, this trade gives us this person, this trade gives us that person. We're not sure if it's official. It's all scattered. Give us the one, here's your new cast for Ahsoka. Bang!
Yeah, done.
And so again, we go listen to our episodes last week for our thoughts on the marketing / PR element.
We're rooting for you, Lucasfilm. We're
hard. We are.
It's funny because our most
wins.
recent episode, I was on there going, I believe Lucasfilm just as much as the trades, and then like we get like a big
too.
trade story.
Yeah, you did say deadline.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that this is like right after that happened, like we're in this position where Lucasfilm could have announced something, but instead it comes from deadline, and you have to kind of take this as like, well, I mean, we'll see. I guess this is our Sabine. I guess that confirms that we're getting Sabine in the show, I know Deadline over the summer had reported a bunch of people that were up for the role. So like in August, they had said a couple people. Yeah, so it hasn't been like too crazy. I haven't had a chance to check it out. Has she confirmed the casting? Has she been like so excited to join Ahsoka?
I don't think so.
Okay,
No.
yeah, okay. So
I'm sure she got a phone call where they were like,
I know, yeah. Hey, we're gonna report this, but don't.
Her manager, her agent were like, "Hey, we got buzz."
oh
going.
yeah, no, if this leaked, it's definitely an agent or a manager or someone. I mean, look at Tem. Tem is a perfect example. His manager was like, "Yo, put this up on this website."
I told Deadline, and they said now that we gave you that, they're going to cover you warmly for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this is like all of this news. Like, I think one lesson that we can learn from Star Wars is basically like, whenever we get news like this, take it as like, John, you always say like a pinch of cinnamon kind of thing. Like, take this news, go, oh, cool, that's awesome, that's another step in the direction, and then, like Ted Lasso says, be the goldfish and just like forget it. And then when we get to the show,
I really need to watch Ted Lasso.
When the show is happening, you'll be like, that's right, Like, oh, I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. We heard that news like a couple months ago or whenever it was, kind of thing. And I tend to do that with a lot of things. Like, for instance, like we've had other castings and things like, what was J.D. Willard was working on a Star Wars movie or whatever.
Dillard.
And like Dillard, yeah. And that gets brought up every once in a while. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And it's like, I don't know if
about TFA recently.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And it's almost kind of better that I'm like, I heard the news and I got excited that it could be a thing, but then you just kind of like let it go. This to me is great. Like I said before, it leans in that direction that this is in fact what they're going to do with the Ahsoka show, topping off of what actually legitimately is confirmed of Ahsoka showing up in an episode and saying, "Where's Thrawn?" You have to think that even story-wise is where they're going with it. So otherwise, that makes no sense. Like, if her show doesn't have Thrawn or Mandalorian and the crossover event and all this other stuff doesn't involve Thrawn, what the heck was that line for? Was it just a throwaway Easter egg?
And don't forget that they, sometimes they like to take things for a spin before they go full bore with it.
Yeah.
And we saw a live version of Zeb's species in I'm forgetting the name of it in The Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. So
episode 6 of season 2, right? Or was it 7? It was the one with Bill Burr.
It was Bill Burr's, yeah. But I forget the species name of Zeb. I wanted to say Zabrak, but that's
no, it's
something like that.
We're on weekend hours, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always have a hard time with species.
Yeah.
Lasat, yeah. He so when we saw those people, I remember people being like, "Oh, is that Zeb? Is that Zeb?" And it wasn't him. But they're trying that stuff out, so maybe we're gonna see the whole gang in this thing, and I think this confirms obviously Ezra. So that's why I think if that casting came out via a trade, all the other trades are now like, we gotta figure out who Ezra is. We need that, land that story or something. So I have a feeling if Lucasfilm doesn't get in front of this and put this all out, you're gonna see real soon another trade popping out with your Ezra casting.
If not Deadline again, just confirming all these other ones.
Which also, like I said, because of this casting now, like I said, I feel like Taylor, it looks bad, less of a chance of Taylor Gray getting it.
Do you believe it more that it's Mina and Mads Mikkelsen?
I do. I feel like it pushes the needle closer to that guy because he's the one, the name that keeps coming up. And
Rosario Dawson kind of confirmed it a little bit.
And his coy responses to his interview with, was Ash Crossan, I forget.
Yeah, it was Ash, yep.
But
because she asked about,
Yeah, right. So it's going to be interesting. And I have a feeling before the year ends, we're going to get that full cast, and it's going to be Thrawn, it's going to be Ezra, it's going to be everybody. And like I said, it'd be nice if it was...
ends.
Yeah.
Do you mean like an official Lucasfilm thing, you think?
No. I think we'll get all of them, like collect them like the Infinity Stones. Like,
I got you.
Deadline's got that one.
The trades will have reported most of the main characters. Gotcha.
Yeah.
They're going to be like Captain Planet when all their rings unite.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm catching up on the Marvel What If, and I just got to the What If Ultron 1, and he's got all the Infinity Stones and stuff.
Oh, wow. So, but like I said, it would, in my opinion, it would have been nice if Lucasfilm and Disney did a one-shot deal presentation. Like, here's the gang. We're getting the gang back together. Here they all are, and here's our Thrawn, and put a nice presentation together. You don't have to have them all on a video or anything, but at least the images,
like they did with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I was going to say they did this with Obi-Wan, which is interesting.
Yeah,
which was delightful, by the way. They did that.
Yeah, and not a big deal.
They did. Yeah, it's weird that they did it for Obi-Wan, considering they haven't done it for other. I mean, I don't think we got something for Mandalorian like that. I really don't think we got something for Book of Boba Fett like that. Here it is. Because
this has to be casted. This whole show has to be casted. If the report is accurate that they're filming this thing in March, like that's almost 3 months away. You
or
need
supposedly
to make sure
that some stuff is going off on December too, according to someone asking if Rosario Dawson was available in December.
Right.
I mean, it seems like maybe there's some stuff even going on like very soon. So
the craziest thing to me is you have like platforms like Netflix who put out their casts immediately. As soon as a show's announced, they're like, here's who's playing who. Like, I mean, look at this past week with the Avatar series where they're just
I was just about to say,
here's everybody that's playing who, and it's not a big deal. You're just like, okay, great. And then also it relieves a little bit of the pressure of people snooping around, I think, because people are just like, they accept it and they say, oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
So I don't know why they do this thing where they're like, we can't tell you who's playing who.
And also, this could have been, like Lacey, we talked off air, this could have been somebody...
I was talking about James Cameron's Avatar that he put out the picture of those kids.
No, I was talking about like Paul being cast in the
2017.
Avatar. Yeah, no, I'm talking about Paul being cast in Avatar Last Airbender.
I looked up Avatar cast photo and I was like, wait, I'm seeing two things here. And I'm like, that's another example. Wait, that's the one he's talking about.
Well, yeah, before we move on, this could have been out of Lucasfilm, like someone could have leaked it, but again, it could have been agents or whatever. But either way, people at Lucasfilm who didn't reveal it, I'm assuming none of them did, but they're probably like, oh man, like, what are we doing, guys? Come on, like, what are we doing? And then more are going to come out when they could have controlled it, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. But we'll see.
What were you saying that we were talking off air? What were you saying? You were saying something before.
Oh, that you had said like, oh, it could have been someone from Lucasfilm who.
Oh yeah, maybe.
To Deadline. So, but yeah, it's cool. I'm excited to see what they do with the live action Sabine. It confirms a lot of the things and puts closure on the end of Rebels with the epilogue. So it's gonna be a packed show, especially for a limited series. So it's gonna be like pedal to the metal, I think, with this with however many episodes they do it, and I'm excited to see what Filoni ends up doing, and I'm glad it's him doing it. So.
It's his dream show, man. They're giving him everything. Yeah. They're like, what do you want? Oh, you want all of these things? Here you go.
Yeah. You've proven yourself multiple times over, so we trust you. Yeah.
You trust us enough to take the hat off for documentaries. We're trusting you.
Yeah, right. So now back to how he looked 20 minutes ago. Back to James.
All right, as John was saying right at the beginning of the show, it looks like Kathleen Kennedy does not need to look for a new job. I'm going to say it right. How do we pronounce Matthew's name here? Is it Filoni? Is that what we're going with? Matthew
I was going to say
Filoni,
but
Bellany.
Bellany. Ooh.
Yeah, he is from the Puck newsletter, and he was reporting this that says, hey, it's official. There's been some. It's always been that thing like where they're trying to get Kathleen Kennedy out. She's leaving. Blah blah blah. It's the end of her. Whatever. But just like 3 years ago, back in 2018, she re-upped, and she is re-upped again until 2024. John, I'm gonna let you get into more of the details here, and then we can start the conversation of how we think this is happening or how it's going. He used kind of sell that, but
Matt B used to work for the Hollywood Reporter too, right? That's something that had come out after this, right? Because people were like, I don't know if I trust this Puck News, but it was someone that had worked at the Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, he was an editor there.
Yep.
Yeah. There's been even other stories with, out of Puck News and stuff that was all kind of like a mix up of like what's going on and stuff. So I think we're taking this for good credibility. So John, what are your thoughts on the story and Kathleen Kennedy sticking around for 3 more years?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the article and click on his name and then click on his like Twitter icon, you find out, he used to be an editor for Hollywood Reporter, which adds legitimacy because he probably, when you move on to other places, you still keep contacts and you still have numbers in your phone, and you probably have people that you used to reach out to for the trade you worked for. You're starting a new venture. You still have those contacts. That's how that stuff goes. Yeah, I mean, I know on Thursday I said, to be as nuanced as possible and clear as possible, I've loved all the movies that Kathleen Kennedy has produced and overseen as president of Lucasfilm. But at the same time, I also felt that they maybe need some new leadership. So I'm not like upset or disappointed by the news by any stretch because she's earned it. And I've always said she has a right to leave on her terms. And I think she will. She'll be in her 70s by the time this next contract runs out, so we'll see where she's at then. I mean, it is a little concerning just because of how we're still getting all these like shakeups and stumbles and production drama happening with especially the theatrical films for some reason. It seems like Favreau and Filoni have a good handle on at least the series that we've gotten so far. And she's, of course, overseeing that too. But I'm not surprised at all. Bob Chapek, a month or so ago, sang her praises and said he hopes Kathleen's with us for a very long time. So he's the boss. So unless she wanted to leave, you got to expect that she was going to stay. So nothing about this is surprising at all. I do love the confirmation that actually led us to going forward with the story was that her husband retweeted it. Frank Marshall of Universal fame retweeted a tweet about the news, and that was enough for people to say, yeah, maybe it's true. I'm sitting at the dinner table with his wife and like, oh, you got an extension? Gotta retweet that. You're gonna buy that extra sofa that we weren't gonna buy until after the holidays. However Frank and Kathy talk, but it's cool for people who have been big fans of Kathleen Kennedy. I think she's one of the greatest producers ever. And I have no problem with her staying on. I'm rooting for Star Wars to be smooth, be well, to keep creating a lot of content for us. So I hope she does a great job, and I hope she needs another contract after that, because I am constantly always wanting Star Wars to succeed and give us great stuff. I know she's a great producer. Hopefully, as the head of the studio, she's still able to give us great products and with less stumbles going forward. I know Rogue Squadron was a recent one. Hopefully it's one of the last ones, and hopefully those shows that are filming coming up soon go well. So it's one of those things. Like I said, it's not black and white for me. Do I think maybe Lucasfilm needs new leadership? I do, but I hope and wish she does well, and I hope the next 3 years are amazing, and we see what happens from there. So,
Lacey, are you on the same page with John? Like, are you cool with this, or would you have liked to see somebody different?
So, first of all, I had to laugh at the tweet that Frank did retweet, because it was basically a commentary on how all these random YouTube people with Funkos behind them are going to be so mad at this news. So it's not like he just retweeted this story from Puck News. He like retweeted the mad YouTuber commentary.
Yeah, that is funny.
That made me laugh. But to your question, James, years ago we had John Roca on the show, and I feel like it was like right after Solo, and it was kind of with the whole Last Jedi thing still going on. We were talking about Kathleen Kennedy, and even then there were rumors that maybe she'll step down or move go away. And I had said at the time, and I still stand by this, that she's going to leave when she wants to. And I don't think that's ever going to change. And I think that's where people need to kind of come to the realization that if she wants to stick around for 3 more years, 6 more years, 10 more years, she's going to. And I don't think anyone's going to take that away from her. I think, like John said, she's one of the best producers of all time, and everything that she's accomplished in the past, almost decade that she's been there. How many years has she been at Lucasfilm at this point?
This is her 10th year.
Yeah,
well, she's been with Lucasfilm, but as president, it's been...
So the past decade, all of the stuff she's accomplished, even if you don't like everything that she's done, you can't look at her, everything that's happened in that timeline and say, oh, she didn't accomplish all these things. Like, come on, she's made so much money for Lucasfilm and for Disney. That being said, I am surprised that she's sticking around, only because I thought she would have just wanted to retire. I don't think it's anything against what she's doing or not doing. I just thought she would have been like, hey, the sequel trilogy's done. I've moved this into the next era. Disney Plus series are happening. I made The Mandalorian happen, all these other things. I thought she would have just retired, because me personally, if I was her, I would have retired and, gone on vacation or enjoyed retirement. Not because I did anything wrong, just because why not? That being said, I'm interested to see what happens next, because we are getting these rumors and updates and behind the scenes kind of snippets where things aren't going the way that they're planned. Things are getting delayed. Things are getting pushed back. So naturally, because she's at the top, she's going to take that flack for that. Even if it's not her, it's just, that's the way that these things work, is you blame the person at the top. But yeah, I'm interested to see where things go, but I trust everything that she's done so far. So I can only trust that she's going to make the right decisions moving forward.
Yeah, I hear both of that. I'm a little bit in the camp where we've talked a little bit about how long she's been with the company, and her leaving at this point would be it would be on her terms, or it would be at this point where we said like, hey, we've done basically a decade with Kathleen. That was a great decade. Let's see what the next person is. And I'm at that point now where I don't hate what came before, but I'm ready to see what the next person is going to bring. And even if that next person is terrible, get it started now so we can be done sooner than later, I'm fine moving on. So when I heard the news that she had up for 3 more years, it's not that I'm disappointed that it's her. It's just, okay, well, I just have to wait until that the great shift happens, kind of thing. And I don't even know how great of a shift it's even going to be. We moved from Iger to Chapek, and things changed, but we don't really know. Did
they get better? Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything crazy has happened. It's not like Star Wars hit the gas. It's not like the new person came in and said, this is how we're going to do it. I almost imagine that if somebody did come in, it would still be fairly the same, because it's likely that person, I don't know how this stuff goes, but I would imagine that Kathleen might choose her successor. Mm-hmm. She might hire that person, or she would have a say, and this is how it's going. Hey, I've been this amazing producer.
Because Iger did, didn't he? Iger had a say in who came after him, or no? Do we know that?
I think that situation was weird. If you remember, he like stepped down,
but then came back because of COVID.
Yeah. There was some weird changes in there. Mm-hmm. So I think he was like still around, and it wasn't quite like a clean break.
He stepped down as CEO and stayed as like chairman.
Yes, like but then was also still, if I remember correctly, still like doing some of the duties as CEO or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. And being the public face of the company.
Yeah,
which is stability for shareholders, and it
was kind of a weird situation. But anyway, my point being that I think like it is possible that they look at Kathleen and respect her opinion on the direction for the company, and they're going to choose somebody that's going to keep Lucasfilm doing what it's been doing, which in our opinion maybe needs to be accelerated, but in Disney's opinion, crank it along just fine. And they seem to think everything's honky-dory right there. So, or else they probably would push her out or something. They're happy with her. They like what's going on. So no matter how long she stays, whenever we get that next person probably is going to continue in the ways of Kathleen, with small minor changes that we probably won't even be able to pick up on, you know?
Right.
But yeah,
because they're pretty
thing
secretive.
About it
we know that.
that's funny is that there's no comparison for Lucasfilm because the previous president was the creator, was also the creative drive, the writer, the director. It was a very unique situation where you had this one person owning his company, overseeing it, and making all those calls, where now it is more of these different roles and tiers and stuff. And, you know, the big question being like, would Lucasfilm serve better by having a creative driving person in that position as president? Or do they see it as more of an executive thing? But then the question being is, this was her first time being a president of a studio. So how has she been doing as that? Because people, when, like, I question like Kathleen Kennedy's abilities as a president of a studio, the reaction from people is always, look at her IMDb page and how many movies she's produced for 40 years and stuff. That's a different job. And no one's questioning that she's one of the best producers, most successful producers we've ever had, but it's a different role. So it's, you know, you can be so great at one thing for decades, and then if you take over a new role, you can't take that you did prior and use that and rest your laurels on that. So I think, like I said, I think it's fair to say, like, you know, there's been a lot of stumbles with Lucasfilm and people say like, oh, all movies have rewrites and all movies, there's so many movies have shakeups. This is just social media. It's not, because we're not hearing this from other studios, and all those studios have fans online that have just as much access to talk about this stuff. I don't hear this stuff coming out of Warner Brothers, even DC, which a lot of people are like, man, they are a disaster. We're not hearing about all this chaos happening. Yeah, there was the thing with Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon, but that was because of a situation where Zack Snyder had to leave because his daughter killed herself.
They did have like 6 Harley Quinn movies at one time though, and like a lot of those have gotten scrapped.
Yeah, that's in development. But now we're talking about movies that are being filming, or like, you know, and we're having
Suicide Squad was a disaster, the first one.
Yeah, but they made it. It wasn't like, it was like, oh, we got to fire the directors now and then do this. Like, we have Star Wars movies that are almost done filming that they fired the directors. Rogue One, like, people forget all the changes that went into that. They almost told Gareth Edwards to take a hike. Rogue Squadron recently, the shakeup with, you know, we can go down the whole list again. There's been a lot of messes at Lucasfilm, and it's fair to just call that out. So it'll be interesting to see how the next 3 years go. Like I said though, I hope it's all great because I am rooting for Star Wars. So let's hope for good things from Kathleen Kennedy. Good luck in the next 3 years. Let's do some awesome stuff.
Yeah. So as we move into the next story, we're looking at the potential shooting schedules for the upcoming Star Wars series, The Acolyte, Ahsoka, Andor. There's a lot to this, a lot of moving parts. I'm going to be totally honest. I've tried to read over this article, and this is like math to me, like algebra. I can't piece together when things started and when
Ahsoka in March,
they're connected.
Acolyte in May.
But also there's more than Ahsoka in March because it's in December and there's there was a lot to this story, I think. But you're saying
Ahsoka in March, Acolyte in May, and the thing was, we had brought it up on a previous episode that Kevin Smith and his buddy were talking about Rosario Dawson shooting. That's probably not them shooting the show. It's her training for the show in December.
Yeah.
Preparing.
So then, go with this, Lacey. Where
Sure.
Take it from here. Like, what are your thoughts on these different shooting schedules? And I don't know, maybe I'll wrap my head around it a little bit more. I'm not a scheduler,
there's a lot
man.
of
I'm not a planner
there's a lot
and
of
dates.
overlapping stuff, and I can speak as someone that's super organized.
Yeah.
That I'm very like, okay, timeline, that makes sense to me. But that being said, it's funny coming off of the conversation we just had about Kathleen Kennedy, because there are a lot of moving parts here. But the exciting thing is that we are hearing that these things are getting shot. And, we always joke and kind of say, like, as long as we keep getting updates for Kenobi and Andor, we're good, because it means it's happening. So to see this stuff is really cool. I can't wait to see footage from Ahsoka and Acolyte, especially Acolyte, because we don't really know much about that series. Like, Ahsoka kind of comes with this understanding of who the character is and expectations of where we think it's going to go based on not just...
we've seen the character in live action.
We've seen her in The Mandalorian. We've heard her talk about very specific characters and storylines, so we kind of have an idea of where that's going. Whereas Acolyte, we kind of don't know much. We have a logo. That's it. And we have some interviews with Leslie Headland where she's kind of talked about her love for Star Wars and her kind of creative process, but we don't know much else. But
timeline,
it is cool
too.
Yeah. So the exciting thing is that they're shooting these in the US, which is cool. But man, is that studio gonna be busy. They're like switching off from Book of Boba Fett to Mandalorian to Ahsoka to to Acolyte to who knows what else. We don't know what other things
They just added a new volume in Burbank, I think it was.
Right, correct. They did. They totally did. So, yeah, I mean, my reaction to this story is great. Keep giving us updates. I do not want to be having a conversation where things are shelved, things are paused, things are back in development, not in development. Like, give me all the updates with planned dates and timelines of productions, because that means it's on the way.
Yeah, and I thought that was a funny thing too when I was reading this article, because it was like, well, we just had Disney Plus Day, but the latest news is from Production Weekly. You know what I mean? Like, they're the people giving us an actual update on this show, or at least attempting to tell us what's going on with it, and what's going on with some of these properties.
Which you'd hope it would come from Disney, like, hey, this is underway. Yeah.
Yeah, we just had this huge day about, the channel, the station that it's all on, and we didn't get anything. And then like the week later, like this magazine or whatever, this website comes out and is telling us more information than we got from the source himself about
I'm sure it's because they don't want
shooting
people...
and when they're preparing.
Yeah, and I'm sure part of it is they don't want people sneaking on set or going to the sets and stuff, which we've seen for Mandalorian and Kenobi and stuff over there, where they're like taking pictures from far away. I'm sure that's part of it, but at the same time, like, come on, guys, give us some updates.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I told you guys a while back that I listened to that Lord of the Rings podcast, and they were kind of in the same boat. They're like,
of the Amazon thing, right?
Yeah, they're like, I don't see why everything's so secretive. Like, I feel like if you had people taking pictures of the set and we knew more about the characters, it would just generate more buzz. Then people would talk about it. Nobody has anything to go on. So at this point, it's just another week of nothing, another month of nothing, another 3 months of nothing, And
it's not like we don't know the story of Lord of the Rings. Like, we don't know where it's going. We know what's going to happen. Not in this series particularly, but like in the overarching story. Yeah.
So, yeah, but it is kind of funny because I'm sitting there and I'm like, as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, just you wait, guys. Like, it's bad. They're not going to tell you anything. John, your position on the filming or potential filming times of these shows and what we're hearing out of this news.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We all expected that they were going to be filming next year. I know there was like rumors about Acolyte filming in January and stuff. In England or UK.
Yeah.
So I guess that wasn't the case. If this is accurate, but I guess this site has been pretty good in the past with scheduling dates. So again, this isn't out of Lucasfilm, of course, because they don't reveal this sort of stuff. So we have to go by sites like this to give us this information, and then it's up to Lucasfilm to come out and debunk it, I guess, instead of just saying like, yeah, we're filming this show in March. So, and that's the other thing with, real quick with the Lucasfilm stuff. Like you said, sort of, James, like there's nothing to protect your audience from by not telling them this show is going to be filming in March, guys, and this show is going to be filming in May. The only reason I think that they're like really being careful with that stuff is they're nervous about bumps in the road and more like having to reel things back. Because they don't have to give us that information. It's just good for fans to know that stuff. And they know they don't have to give the information. And probably because of all the bumps in the road they've been hitting, it's like a new policy, like, if you don't need to say it, then we're not going to say it. And I feel that's what's going on.
Can I give an example of that, actually? I've said this before, but it's a really good example from Lucasfilm, is that Harrison Ford was supposed to be on the TFA panel, and then he crashed his plane. So that's why now, when you have panels for Celebration, they'll usually give you maybe 1 or 2 people and then special guests, because they don't want to tell you who's going to be on the panel in case something happens and they have to cancel. And that's a fact. I was in the meeting when they said it. So
yeah, but I'll still say, and I understand that mentality, and I tend to live my life often in that same way. But I also think that type of mentality. What? I didn't hear what he said.
I said a quarter mile at a time, right, James?
Yeah.
You sounded like the line. You were like, I live my life by
I do, but I think that kind of mentality is like fear driven, like
sure.
Is it safer to turn your cell phone off when you're on a plane or something like that? Well, they tell you to do it, so maybe I should do it. But it's just like that kind of stuff is like, what are we doing? We're not really living if we don't do things, because we're always afraid of the worst possible outcome. And right. I think right now, like, Lucasfilm is in that zone where they're like, well, let's just not ever say anything. We don't want anything bad to happen. God forbid something bad happen, and then we'd have to back out on our word. But I think
that's what I said.
I know exactly.
He's agreeing with you.
I'm saying, I think what needs to happen, though, is they need to get positive again. And I think that's maybe why Marvel is firing on cylinders, because they don't care. They don't care if something bad happens. They've got so much good momentum going now. They're like, we'll say it. We hired this person. We hired that person. We're bringing in this person. We're doing this property. And all that confidence just makes the fans and everybody else feel real confident behind that thing, too. So when the hiccups do happen, it isn't a problem. They go, oh, well, there was a hiccup, whatever. But like most everything else is going pretty well. Like, I think we need to get into that zone. They need to announce some things and land those promises and just get in the right space. And then we'll get the ball rolling on being positive about everything again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And don't forget, like, even Indiana Jones got bumped, like pushed back a year. And that's a Lucasfilm thing. So
Harrison looking at his watch.
Yeah, well, he probably texts when he flies. That's why he's always crashing his plane.
Yeah, and didn't Willow switch directors too? Willow switched directors. Wasn't it John M. Chu, and then it switched to someone else?
Oh, I don't even know who is directing Willow.
I think they switched directors on that.
Why isn't Ron Howard doing it? That's what I would like to know.
I don't know. I don't know who's doing it. I think originally it was John M. Chu from like Step Up and stuff. And Crazy Rich Asians, and then it switched to someone else. But
was it really?
I'm pretty sure. And he couldn't do it, so he had to back out.
Oh,
interesting. Yeah. So I agree. Like, confidence is the thing. It's like when you do anything in life. Like, if you're shooting baskets and you feel really confident about it, you're going to make 9 out of 10. But if you have any sort of trepidation, like, oh man, there's a good chance I'm going to miss this, you're going to miss every time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the vibe, and we don't know for sure, but it just seems that way from a public perception with Lucasfilm. Like, there's hesitation to what they're doing. And because of that, sometimes they say things, sometimes they don't. And there's just not this cohesive pattern of consistency in how they handle their publicity. And I know they're just going through a major change right now with their longtime PR head is departing at the end of the year. So there's probably a lot of shifts there. So the real test will be to see how things start coming out of Lucasfilm's camp 2022 and beyond. If we start seeing the same things, then they haven't really done much changing other than one person retiring and someone stepping in. If we start seeing things like, wow, I'm surprised they said that, or holy cow, they just put out like a 5-minute video from the set. Wow, that's interesting. And we start seeing a shift than what we've been used to over the last few years, then you're going to know things are moving in a different direction in terms of their confidence and how they want to control the publicity of their stuff. Because right now, say what you want, but fan sites and like sites like this, like Production Weekly, and those other those sites that handle like company names or production company names in England, who often are able to like spill information about, oh, Lucasfilm, bought this license or this company name and it's stationed here in England or whatever. They're, filming a movie. Like, people have to get their information from that because they're not getting it from official sources. I think it'd be better if they were in a situation where they controlled the information. Not everything is precious. It's okay to let people know that Rosario Dawson is filming her Ahsoka series that everyone's very excited about in March. Get your fans excited. The only reason I could think that they don't want to reveal that type of stuff, which is a mundane fact about their show, it's not spoiling anything, is that there's hesitance and there's concern and fear and worry that they're going to do it. And then 2 weeks later, it's going to be like, oh, we had to fire the writer, or they're not going to fire Dave Filoni. I'm sure he's writing it, but you get what I mean. That something had to happen. So
just
I'm kind of with you on that, James. Yeah.
Just a quick update, because I did look up the Willow thing. Yes, you were right. It was John M. Chu. He backed out. They got another guy, Jonathan Entwistle, was hired to replace Chu as for the pilot and was also executive producing. However, he also left the series, and now they've had a third person come in to direct the first 2 episodes.
I think John M. Chu, it was very specific to COVID. Like, they were trying to shoot while COVID was happening and he couldn't leave the country.
It says Chu would announce that he had to step away from directing duties due to a production delay and personal reasons in January. So I don't know exactly.
Oh, okay.
What that is,
and then maybe his wife was pregnant or something. It was something. Yeah, it was. Possibly. It was a personal thing.
But
interesting.
Yeah, that all.
And they may have multiple directors because it's a series.
Yes.
Because they were supposed to. John M. Chu was supposed to be the pilot, and now the person that they have now is directing the first 2 episodes. So I think it might be kind of one of those things where like showrunner maybe has been the same or something. I'm not really positive,
sure.
But.
And the guy who's directing the first 2 Willows served as second unit on some of the Harry Potter films.
Cool.
He directed Outlander.
Nice.
Couple other things.
I was just giving an example of like, yes, there's other productions within Lucasfilm that are having changeovers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a good example. Hey, one other thing too, and this is another story here. The Chloe Zhao is not directing Kevin Feige's movie. It's kind of an interesting thing. We went with a rumor from Big Screen Leaks and reported it as a rumor that she might be the first choice, having come just off of number one, she was Oscar winning, and then she did Eternals, and it just seemed like everything was right. So that's where the story came from. But then it was pointed out by Hollywood Reporter, that is definitely not happening. So John, I'm going to bounce back at you on this. Thoughts on Chloe Zhao is in fact not directing Kevin Feige's or any Star Wars movie.
Or any Star Wars movie, yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why this story is interesting is because it's that whole thing that we've been talking about where, a new Marvel movie comes out and fans kind of latch their allegiance to a director's name who's got buzz, and she had buzz because she was directing this movie. And I know there's been a big push for more women directors in Star Wars. Obviously, we have Deborah Chow doing the most hyped up or anticipated series. So that's a good thing because she's an amazing director from what we saw with The Mandalorian. So that's good. And you got Patty Jenkins. Who knows what's happening with Rogue Squadron? But, people are like, Chloe Zhao. She's got, give her a Star Wars movie. I don't care what it is. Just give her a Star Wars movie. And then I don't know, how this story came about, but it maybe was one of those things where it felt like it made sense because of the Marvel connection. We know Kevin Feige's producing a movie. We know who's writing his movie is Michael Waldron, I believe. We didn't know if he had a director yet, and we don't know when that movie's coming out. So the fact that it got debunked, it just made me think of that whole thing again, where people are, anytime there's a popular director out there, fans just say like, give them a Star War. And that's what they say. That's the cool thing to say is you unpluralize it and you say a Star War, give them a Star War. And it's just like, you see it all the time. I don't, whoever it is, what movie it is, if it's a big movie that comes out, oh, they should direct Star Wars. We don't need big names directing Star Wars. Like I said, I had no idea who Deborah Chow was before she came. I didn't know who Rick Famuyiwa was. I'll be honest, and I know they're already accomplished. But I'm saying, as a diehard Star Wars fan, I didn't know. That to me means a general casual Star Wars fan might not know either. Most people didn't know who Irvin Kershner was either, and a lot of people claim that Empire Strikes Back, including myself, is the best Star Wars movie ever. So we don't need to go big fishing all the time. There are a lot of great, talented people out there that can come in and catch lightning in a bottle and do a great job, and they could be whoever. So I think that's why I kind of like this story in a way, where it's like, no, that obvious choice that everyone was clamoring for is not directing his movie and not directing any Star Wars movie. So for some reason, even though it's a debunk and like a negative thing for people who may have wanted Chloe Zhao, I kind of liked it because it's like that hope that they're not going to the person in the headlines, in the buzz right now with a current Marvel movie out. They're maybe making more internal and creative choices for their directors. Hopefully, we'll see.
Lacey, any thoughts on this story?
Yeah, I think part of it definitely is because Eternals just came out and people have really, really loved that film because it's just, I haven't seen it yet, guys. I'm going to be honest. I haven't either, yeah. I'm not in a position to go to the movies right now, so I'm not. I just saw Shang-Chi last weekend, just saw James Bond last weekend, so hopefully when it comes to Disney Plus, I'll get to see it, but...
Oh, did Matt like James Bond? I know he's a Bond fan.
He did not.
Oh, no!
He did
All right,
not,
I still gotta watch it. Okay.
I don't want to spoil it because I'm sure a lot of people
love
James
Bond. He's like, more like, time to get my money back.
Shut up. It was definitely it was a letdown in the sense of he's been waiting for over 2 years to see it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hype there, so I think that, it was already a little bit below what it could have been. And that's not his favorite Bond. He likes, I forget which one he told me.
Timothy Dalton.
No, not Timothy Dalton.
Probably Timothy Dalton.
No, what's
he's the
one?
Fan favorite, I think.
No, he's
Pierce Brosnan.
He's not even the one
Richard
that everyone
Moore.
hates. Everyone hates George, whatever his name is. Zachaby?
George Lazenby.
Lazenby, that guy.
George Takei. He's the worst Bond.
No,
George Lazenby only did one movie.
Yeah, and it's the worst one.
Maybe he's a Connery guy, or the other one's Roger Moore. So
I would guess that he's probably a Pierce Brosnan guy because that's what he grew up on. Like that's 90s.
Especially if he played GoldenEye growing up.
Yes. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I haven't been to the movies yet. I haven't been to the movies yet.
Eternals.
So I've been dying to see this movie and I just haven't been able to. But from what I've seen from people online, is there are Star Wars references in this movie. She has made Star Wars references in interviews, not just with this movie, but with previous movies. She's obviously a big fan. She's made comments about writing fan fiction and how she's gonna jump online and write fan fiction about stuff. So I think she's connected with a part of the fandom that's like, wow, she really likes Star Wars. This would be really cool.
She gets it.
Yeah, but I think part of that is the popularity of, hey, this is the new hot movie. We heard it last month with Dune. Everyone was like, oh, he should do a movie. Like, it's just the immediate thing that people do. But I think that's where part of this is stemming from, is because Chloe also did kind of fuel that a little bit and brought up Star Wars in interviews and was asked about it, because it's one of those things that when you have Marvel, you automatically get asked about Star Wars. That being said, I honestly, I haven't seen her other movie, which it's on my list. It's just, time. But I've heard nothing but wonderful things about her, and in every interview that she's in, she's just so wonderful. So I would have loved to see a Star Wars movie from her, but at the same time, I haven't seen her movies, so I can't properly give a very accurate portrayal of if she do a good job or not, or if she's a good fit for Star Wars. So I apologize there. I will eventually, once it's Disney Plus, I'll let you guys know. But other than that, I just think, again, this goes back to if they were just more honest with who's doing what, I don't think we would get these stories, and I don't think that there would be a letdown for people. And that's part of the issue for me, is seeing other fans disappointed. It kind of stinks.
Yeah, Eternals is kind of in a weird spot. You were saying you saw a lot of praise, but I think
from fans.
Yeah, it has like the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score, but all that I heard about the reviews is like that doesn't make any sense, because it's definitely better than other Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think there is a group of fans that are rallying against it for whatever reasons. That's the world we live in now. But I think overall the consensus I got from it was that it's taking risks and chances that other movies haven't made yet, and it's moving it into Marvel into a different direction, kind of.
Well, either way, when it comes down to it, I think you guys nailed both of the points as far as like why fans would rally behind this particular person and why that story would make sense. I think it's kind of funny because it just comes back to what we said. Like, I just wish that we knew who was directing Kevin Feige's movie.
But Michael Waldron's involved.
I know, yeah. If you can give us that, then that's cool. And how has that really changed anything other than it steered us in the correct direction and has potentially helped Michael Waldron's appearance, right?
Because he did Loki, so now you have this understanding of he's great.
Yeah, his ability to I don't know, like for people to recognize who he is and just grow himself as a creator.
I wonder if like Lucasfilm PR calls or emails Kevin Feige and they're like, all right, so this is our plan. And he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
Please. It just makes me think that they don't have a director yet. That's literally what it is, because I feel like Kevin Feige isn't the type to just not say it.
I actually think that is the truth of the matter, is that the story is like, oh, this person was picked to be, and then they're not. It's like, oh, well, that just goes to show that they actually don't have a director yet, and this was just kind of a rumor, or maybe she was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Because Kevin's come out multiple times saying, I am not doing this. I'm not taking over Lucasfilm. I am not. Like, he is very quick to be like, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's
he
not
just wanted to do a Star Wars movie because I think he likes Star Wars.
He does.
That's the thing. Yeah. It was like, I'm not taking over Lucasfilm. Also, I'm going to be working on a movie. I'm going to be
But like, how many times did he have to remember?
What?
Like last year, that was like the hot story that he's taken over Lucasfilm and stuff. And how many interviews did he do where he was like, look at me, we're not doing this. Like, and they were like,
look at me.
There's a chance.
I am not the captain now.
Yeah. So they're like,
did you see how his eyebrow furrowed under his baseball cap when he said that?
And like I think it was like, honestly, like 3 interviews within a month that he was like, guys, I'm serious. I'm not, there's no secrecy here. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let's go back on the rumor train a little bit as we talked about Quantic Dream, their Star Wars game that might be getting a teaser at the 2021 Game Awards. Now, again, we don't know this for a fact. This isn't anything. We just kind of heard this. But if you are unfamiliar with what we're even talking about when we say the name of this company, they are behind the games such as Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human. I mean, they've been involved in these types of games for a while, and it's really cool now that they have this title, which is rumored to be called Star Wars Eclipse, will be coming soon, and that we might actually, it's been supposedly in development for a while now. So right around now would be the time when we'd start to hear stuff for it. I guess it's just that time. Like, what can we expect out of a new Star Wars game? Actually, Lacey, I'm going to bounce back at you on the thoughts of this game. What do you think?
So the title, Star Wars Eclipse, is a cool title, but I can't help but think of Twilight.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The third book is called Eclipse. So I was just like, so Twilight? Anyway, I am excited about this. I right now, we talked about in the state of Star Wars video games right now, all we're really getting currently is the Lego Skywalker Saga, and then
supposedly Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Yes, that, yep. So
supposedly Battlefront 3 at some point.
Right. So I can't help but just wonder, like, what other games could they be doing right now with all the different video game studios there are outside of mobile stuff? And we had said that, and then this rumor comes out, and it's really, really cool. I was actually pretty pumped for James because it is supposedly taking place in the High Republic. This is like James's jam right here, getting into that High Republic era. What I was really interested in is that the people that are working on the game also worked on Assassin's Creed. Now, back in the day, I love Assassin's Creed. Like, I play the game all the time, and just like the world building there is insane. And, you know, it's an award-winning game. Like, everyone loves Assassin's Creed. So I'm interested to see what happens. Part of this rumor is also that they could be doing multiplayer. I'm a big fan of multiplayer with Battlefront. So I guess we'll see on December 9th if we get a sneak peek or not. But I am interested.
John, did anything excite you about this particular title or studio, or?
The title made me think of the Death Star, and how it like eclipsed the sun in Rogue One.
Good point. Not Twilight.
But I don't think they're doing no, not Twilight. I don't think they're doing a Death Star game, though. I think that'd be cool to do like an attack on the Death Star type of game, or games that put you in scenes in Star Wars like the old Star Wars arcade game did. Not necessarily make it like a canon story or something, just like let me be Han Solo and disrupt Darth Vader from attacking Luke or something.
Right.
But if they're saying maybe High Republic, and I know there's so much going on with the old Republic games, KOTOR stuff being remade, or a 4K trailer, like I can't keep up. And even like doing the editing work for Star Wars News, that I still can't keep up. There's just so many of these stories about all these things. But so I'm going to lean on you guys for like video game stuff. I mean, I like hearing about Star Wars video games. I don't get to play them very often, and I'm not very good at video games, but anytime there's a new game, it seems to be one of the areas where Star Wars fans don't like eat each other alive over it. I know there was issues with the Battlefront, like extra stuff to buy or whatever, but it seems like fans usually have a good time when it comes to the Star Wars video games. So I think that's pretty cool.
So to me, I'm unfamiliar with the other two titles, Beyond Two Souls and what was it? Detroit Become Human. But just a quick, like, even I didn't do this beforehand. Even while we're sitting here talking, I'm looking just very quickly at the gameplay, the couple trailers and stuff, and it looks very similar to Heavy Rain, which is a game I am very familiar with, and I know how that game played out. It looks like all three of them are pretty similar, and this would be a very interesting Star Wars game because to me it doesn't fit Star Wars at all.
Interesting.
These games are good, but they're almost like choose your own adventure kinds of stories that aren't really as much like you're controlling the character. It's more like you're walking into a situation and the actions that you decide ultimately just leads the story the way that it is.
Well, isn't that like the Galaxy's Edge rides in a way, right?
No,
wasn't that the whole
no.
The Galaxy's Edge experience or something?
Yeah,
like
I think
that?
you think that's something like bigger or crazier than what it is. It's not really as involved.
I've never been. They didn't let me.
Yeah. Those are just real simple little things that are like kind of through the app or whatever. In fact, I would imagine that most people go don't even really know that stuff is there. It's like extra if you want to do it.
This is more like the books where it's like turn to page 8.
Yes. This is actually legitimately like, you hear something in the other room. Like they show you kind of a cutscene of like noise in the other room. And it's like, do you want to go in the room? Like, do you want to bust down the door? And it's kind of like, Heavy Rain to me is it's a book. It's like watching a movie that you're acting out. There's nothing crazy to it. It's just throughout the process, you're never controlling the character. You're never like really walking around. You're just kind of choosing the actions of the character. And I don't know if the other games did that, but I'm like, man, this is different. I would never have expected a Star Wars game to go down that route. Now, again, I could be way off. If I look more into this, or when we get our first look at it, maybe they're using their engines and their ideas to kind of do something new. But yeah. But I think I don't know. It's interesting. I'm excited to see what it is. In fact, if it's like a real thing and it doesn't get shut down like 1313 or something, who knows?
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's possible. But yeah, Heavy Rain was definitely like a very, very different kind of video game. It's almost not even a game. It's like pushing buttons and watching things happen. So, but that pretty much is we're running up against the clock here. So I do want to mention a couple other things happening in Star Wars right now. There was a cover reveal for the new Brotherhood book, which is the novel that's focused on Obi-Wan and Anakin during the Clone Wars. That actually just happened at the end of last week. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go look at the cover. I personally think it's stupid, but that's beside. I think it's a bad cover. I was like, oh, that's the fake. No, that's the real cover. Okay. The other one is Star Wars comics are returning to Dark Horse with new all ages line. So this is quite interesting for all the people who were like Legends fans. If you didn't know, Dark Horse was always like the one of the front runners for Star Wars comics. They had a lot of really good lines, and even one. The Darth Maul line made it into canon. It was a Dark Horse comic that they made it into canon. So it's the only Dark Horse comics as of now that are canon, but they're getting it back. And then
Disney came along. Yeah,
I think they're switching from IDW. The license is up there, so we'll stop seeing IDW comics and start getting Dark Horse comics. It's just kind of a change of pace, but I don't think they're going to change up a lot of the content. I think they'll probably still continue to write like High Republic and adventure style comics with some of the characters and things like that. So, but then again, they could go really crazy and dark. One last thing that we wanted to mention is for people who are interested in Knights of the Old Republic and how it's returning, you're getting digital releases for PlayStation and for PC, but they just announced recently that there will also be physical copies of the game that you can buy for PC and Nintendo Switch.
I have a Switch now.
If you're a Switch owner, then that's the thing for you. If you're for PC, then that sucks because you're kind of in this boat where you're going to have to like wait. Like, do I want to buy it on digital or wait for the physical or do both? You know how that goes. But yeah, that is it for the Resistance Report this week. And I'm going to hand it over to Lacey. What's up next?
All right, guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. So there are lots of ways you can support us. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN, on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast, on pretty much all audio apps. Here on YouTube, you can subscribe, comment, ring the bell for notifications. But if you want more, you can head over to patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. Starting at $2 a month, you support what we're doing here and what we plan to do in the next year when everything goes crazy. And just us loving Star Wars and building a fun community for you all to be a part of. And included in that is a lot of different perks, including exclusive content, mailings, much, much more. This is the part of the show where we let generals and spice runners take part. We ask them a question, they give us an answer. But before we do that, I do want to thank some of them. So Thank you to our generals, Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Paul Olson, Jake Houchins, Oliver Lewis, Frank Grande, Haas, Joe Ritchie, Darth Hurricane, John Chorlton, Nick Kratz, Christian Morales, Brian Smith, Matt Chitty, Joey Mayfield Stewart, Nathan Shank, and Val Trichkoff. Thank you guys so much, generals. Then we have our Spice Runners. Taking a breath here. David Probus, Neil Shaw, Double C Chris, Kendall Gelner, Ryan Wara, who just did our Spice Chat last week with us on Patreon. Yeah. It was a blast. We do a live chat with our Spice Runners and then people in the community, and you guys showed up and had awesome, fun questions. It got a little spicy. It was a great time. Dave Hornack, Micah Harrison, and Thomas Hennessy. Thank you guys so much for being Spice Runners. This week we have General Mello over in España, but he's on location in Greece. Wow. Which is kind of cool. Always traveling. Very, very fun. And we asked him, after hearing about Rogue Squadron being delayed, is it time for Disney to put Lucasfilm under new leadership? He asked for spice. We gave it to him. So, Mello, take it away.
Hello, guys, and greeting from Athens. I'm in Athens. Look behind me. It's a party on. My question is, what's the party have to do with Star Wars? I don't know, but it will be fantastic to find a planet like this. Look at this. I think that's Athens temple. And here's a fantastic display of the Greek flag. Okay, the questions. Oh, first of all, sorry for being gone. I've been busy, extremely busy. First time I get time to myself. And if you don't hear from me after this video, it's because I die like the story of the Athens marathons because I'm running it tomorrow. Okay, the question, because I am your current spicy commentator. Actually, there's a couple things I appreciate and I don't appreciate. One of the things I don't appreciate is instant gratification. So, do we need new leadership in Lucasfilm because of Rogue Squadron? I don't think so. I prefer them to take their time and do a proper project. I think that's better that way. Rush things usually don't end up well. So, we would like to see Filoni or Favreau in the helm. Yes, it'll be fantastic. But I also want Kathleen Kennedy to get her due and finish properly because she has done a lot of things, you know. And I think for the times that she put in the industry, I think she deserves her time to finish properly. Well, that's all I have. Viva Resistance.
Well done, Mello. Awesome location. John, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, location is amazing. I've never been to Greece. That was pretty awe-inspiring. So thank you for that. Felt like I was kind of there with you, Mello. And also, our longest-running general has to be said again.
One of our first patrons, actually.
Mello's been supporting us for a very long time, and it means a great deal. And when you get back to the States, hopefully we get to hang out again with you.
First general, and I was at Disney World getting off a bus when I got the email that somebody signed up as a general. So I that's one that I will always remember because I was like, oh, look at this, look, and like texted it. Yeah. He's important.
And what's good about your answer, Mello, is it is very nuanced, and I always appreciate that because on one hand you say like, yeah, I would love if Favreau and Filoni took over and ran Lucasfilm, but at the same time, I think Kathleen Kennedy deserves her due, and you make a good point. If they needed to delay Rogue Squadron, it's better they do that than rush it out and have it not be fully what they were looking for. And, you know, we've seen what happens when they put things out earlier than maybe they should have. So I think you did a good job. I hope you're well. Hope your family's well. Always good to see you, man. And I'm glad you're able to pop in the chat again once in a while, but hopefully we get to catch up a bit more when you have more free time. And congrats on the marathon, buddy.
Mm-hmm. I definitely love all the traveling and the videos. Like, I haven't even seen Greece, let alone been there. And the movie, that is joke.
Oh, God.
But no, I mean, your point's right. It's funny that we kind of had this discussion again earlier at the beginning of the episode. I was a little bit more like, you know, I'm excited for the future, but I don't disagree with exactly what you're saying. Give her, you know, what she's due. Lacey's right too. Like when she wants to leave, she'll leave, so that's fine. For a little bit longer, we have Kathleen Kennedy, no problem. Would I also like to see Dave and John take a? Yeah, I mean, sure, that would be great too. I don't think that would happen. I don't think that's their next move up, you know, job title or anything like that. But at the same time, like if that came across my feed tomorrow that Kathleen Kennedy is not signing for 3 years and Jon Favreau is the new CEO of Lucasfilm or something, what? That would be nuts. And I think like it would really invigorate the fan base and stuff. But I agree with you. Love seeing your videos. Love having you around as always. Like I said, first general, always remember getting off the bus and getting that alert on my phone and being very excited that you knew who we were and wanted to participate in our venture, what we were doing. So thank you, Mello. Means a lot.
Mello, it's always good to see your face on the show and hear your voice. I love that you were like, I'm going traveling. Can I do this? And I was like, of course. You always have really fun videos. Congrats on the marathon. I don't think I could even run 10 feet right now. So you're winning there. I also look forward to seeing you next year at Celebration, and just thanks for being an awesome person, Star Wars fan, a member of our community. It means a lot to us. I agree with your answer. I think these guys said it perfectly that, you know, Kathleen Kennedy makes sense. Sure, why not? But then also there's these two guys that have done a really good job with something really new and flashy and wonderful that you're like, but what if they did it? Why not? So yeah, thanks so much for your answer. Really appreciate it. And now we're going to head back to John.
All right. Yeah. Before we get out of here, like I said, it is Thanksgiving week. We are going to have a Thanksgiving episode. So, as is tradition here, for you to listen to or watch as you're preparing your meal or whatever you're doing on Thanksgiving. So, with that in mind, what do you guys, I mean, who knows with you, Lacey? Like you could be.
I was gonna say, I don't know what Thanksgiving holds for me.
You could be eating You could be eating Jell-O in the hospital for all we know on Thanksgiving.
I hate Jell-O, but yes, I get the point that I could be eating
ice
something.
chips or yes.
For people at home, my due date is actually Thanksgiving, like the day. So who knows? What I normally do is eat a lot of mashed potatoes. That's what I normally do.
What if your birthday is on Thanksgiving? About that, like,
I would love that because Thanksgiving is like my favorite meal of all time. Like my favorite sandwich is a Thanksgiving sandwich, so I would be all for it. I don't know if my daughter will feel that way.
Thanksgiving changes always though. It's never like the 25th.
That's true. It's always the third Thursday.
Oh, you might be right on that. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, yeah. So it would only be
James,
sometimes. That's kind of cool, I guess.
Only sometimes.
Yeah, James, what are you doing? You got any plans? What are you guys doing?
No, so like last year was a mess, as most people's probably were, but we do the swap between my wife's family and my family. So like sometimes we do, you know, Christmas there and Thanksgiving here, and then we swap them and stuff. So the only thing we're doing for Thanksgiving is we're going down to Cincinnati to see my sister and normally eat lots of macaroni and cheese, which I still to this day am dumbfounded that that's not like a Thanksgiving staple, but like
it is for a lot of people.
I apparently it's not. I feel like we've encountered this before, even on the show and other Thanksgivings. Like I was like, that's obviously like a main one, and like most people are like, oh, I don't even have macaroni and cheese on Thanksgiving.
If Boston Market has it, it counts.
That's true.
Oh.
John, you have a bad memory with Boston Market, so
yeah,
you can't
join us on Patreon.
But yeah, that's how I see it. Is like if Boston Market has it as a state, like their side, then it makes sense. But yeah, no, I know a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. It's a staple for me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any traditions aside from meals, like movies you guys watch, or anything you do every year on Thanksgiving, James, or anything like that?
No.
All right. Do you watch the parade? I feel like nobody watches the parade anymore.
Grogu's in the parade this year, though.
What?
Grogu's in the parade this year.
That's enough already.
I thought you said Goku, and I was like, Goku's been in the parade, buddy.
Oh yeah, I know he has.
Yeah. I was pretty excited when that happened, and then they brought him back the next year too. But I always like seeing Dragon Ball represented because I'm like a big fan of people are like, you like that? And then like every once in a while it's like a big thing, you know, and it's like very clear. And I'm like, see, I'm not crazy. It's like, it's awesome. It's very popular.
I like the dog show.
I don't. I've never watched it.
No.
I guess I can't say I don't like it, but
me and my sister, when she used to live in Connecticut, would always watch the dog show. She still does.
There's something weird about a person lifting up a dog's tail and exploring its butthole.
Well, you gotta check it sometimes, you know?
Oh my god.
I was gonna say
all right.
Anyway,
happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah, my Thanksgiving this year is a little things are pretty crazy right now on my end of things. So we're trying to figure all that out, but we are likely going to my parents at some point. And my grandpa, who's 91, still said he's going to make potato croquettes, which are basically like fried potatoes. So I'm very excited about that and thankful that he's still at it, doing that sort of stuff. So, but that takes us to the end of the show here. So obviously, first, we want to hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. We will be with you on Thanksgiving. So at any point during the day, feel free to check in with us, whether you're tired of hearing your uncle's stories that you've heard a million times, or it's early in the day, in the morning, you want to get your day started. If you're traveling somewhere, check in with us. We'll have a special Thanksgiving episode Thursday for you. But we do hope you have safe travels and a happy holiday. Thanks for listening and watching and being a part of the Resistance. Like Lacey said before, wherever you prefer to get us, go there, subscribe, and share on Thanksgiving. Tell your family. Check out this. You like Star Wars? You hear about Boba Fett coming out? Check out this Star Wars podcast. They're a lot of fun. Tell your family about it. We appreciate it. That's how we grow, is word of mouth. So we thank you for that. Make sure you go to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, writing and editing at Star Wars Newsnet. And I have a movie podcast called Just Like the Movies. We just put out an episode on Happy Gilmore. It's available on all podcast apps, just like the movies. James.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks.
And Lacey.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin.
All right, everyone. We'll catch you on Thursday. Enjoy your weeks, your short weeks, and we'll see you soon right here on the Resistance Broadcast. See you around, kids.